Let's take example, client has given me a requirement. And for that requirement, here we have the scenario that I have to provide a input field. We have the buttons, and that button, if I click on the button, that button should work. So guys, so always the UI will be known as the HTML, because obviously it's a tag based UI. It's a tag. Whenever we are going to develop the UI, it's a HTML page. But sometimes the client used to say that it's a client side code, because in interview, sometimes the interviewer or maybe the client is going to ask, have you worked on the client side code? So the client side code means, have you worked on the HTML code? That is the meaning. Fine. So once, if they're going to ask about the client side code, it means it's a HTML code. Now, the second layer here we have, this layer is going to communicate. This layer is going to communicate to whom? This layer is going to communicate to HTML, to database. So this is the layer in between database and HTML. So whenever we want to send the data to database, we are going to send it to the JavaScript file, and this JavaScript file is going to transfer the same data to the database. So this middle layer is very, very important. It is very crucial, because the role of the JavaScript file is what? This is what? JavaScript. Because JavaScript will take all the responsibilities of transferring data from HTML to database, and from database to UI component. This is very important. Here we have, and this will transfer the data from database to UI. So whenever we have to make a request to the server, this is what database was. It's a server. Whenever we have to make a request to the server, we cannot go directly from HTML to database. Always we have to transfer data from HTML to JavaScript, and from JavaScript to database. Once we got the response from this data, from this database, then that response will be shared to, again, it's JavaScript, and this JavaScript is going to transfer the same data to HTML. This flow always goes on. Fine. Now let me provide, this is what? This is a server side, server side code. Now server side code is also known as what? Apex. And Apex is similar to Java. So whatever the basic coding we have done, we have learned about Java, that coding we are going to utilize it. And in JavaScript is only used for transferring a data from HTML to database, and database to HTML. So we are going to take the same scenarios, and we are going to start the development, and let's go and let's create a basics component, lightning web component, and that component we are going to add it on our Salesforce. So we'll see practically, then we'll get to know that how easy it is. You can see here we have the Lightning Studio Chrome extension. Now the first component we are going to develop, and here we have, you can see in the left side panel we have some options given. Here we have the options of hide and show the sidebars. Here we have create a new component. Here we have lightning LMS, lightning message channels. Here we have creating a new Apex class similar to Java. Here we have all the options given here. But let's take example, I have to create a new lightning web component. So I can go here, we have the option create new component. I can click on that. It will ask, give me the name. What will be the file name of the component? So I can provide first LWC component, lightning web component. And that lightning web component should be exposed, because if we are not going to expose it, it will not be available on the UI. If we are going to unexpose it, we can create the component, but that component we cannot use anywhere. So definitely if we are creating a component, that component I want to utilize inside Salesforce, so that should be exposed. Same, if you want to use the CSS file in that, we can utilize it. If you want to use the SVG file, we can use it, but currently I am not going to use the CSS and SVG. Inside the same LWC component, I will include the CSS file. Now here we have the targets. Now on which page I want to show the lightning web components. You can see here we have multiple pages. The first page, this is known as what? This is known as list view page. This is known as list view page. If I click on any of the record, this is known as detail view page. Why? Because on this page I can see the details. I can see the details. So that's why it is detail view page. So it is asking here on which page you want to show the Lightning Web Component. On record page, app page, home page, time page, inbox, where you want to show it. So let's say example, I want to show it on record page. I want to show it on record quick action. These are the two options currently I have taken. Rest of the option will see step by step. So I want to show my first LWC component on the record page. So I can scroll it down and here we have the option of deploy. So once I click on the deploy, it will directly deploy to the Salesforce. Let's show. So I can go and let's click on this deploy now. Once I clicked on the deploy, you can see a file is created. And you can see here we have the option first second is JavaScript file, and third here we have the meta XML file. Now what this three file contains, I will let you know. The first file is HTML. What is HTML? As I have told you, this is the first file where we have to develop our UI. Which type of UI we have to create, how many input parameters we have to create, how many buttons we have to create. It means these all are the UI designing. So that UI designing portion will be done inside the HTML page. Second, what we have? JavaScript. What is JavaScript? JavaScript is it is used for supporting purpose. It will support to the HTML, it will support to database. So it is the middle layer that is created already. Now, the next here we have the third file about JavaScript meta XML. Now, what it is? So, meta XML is what? It is the location on which location I want to show the Lightning Web Component. So, what we have selected on record page, on action. On record page, I want to show the component, and on action as a button, I want to show the component. So, these are the three files that initially it will generate. Okay. So now you can see here we are getting a message that component was successfully. Let's see if I can go inside Salesforce. If I want to add the components here, is it available here now? So for getting this, whether it has deployed successfully here, yes or no. So what we can do, we can just click on this setup. Once we click on the setup, we can go for edit page. We can go for edit page. Now, once we have edited the page, so what was the file name that we have taken? The file name is first LWC. So I can search that. I can search that with the same name. Here we have first. Let me close this. Here we have first. See, I'm getting that. See, one of the LWC component we have developed and is deployed. And now it is available here as a custom. We just have to add it. We just have to add it. So I can go just drag here and drop where you want to add it. So I want to add it here. It's added. It's added. But see, it's added, but it is showing the grayish color. But it means because why? Because currently you can see I haven't written anything inside that. So I have added here. I have added here. Once I have added, I can go for save it now. And once we are going to save it, it will ask us to activate. See, it is asking for activate now, because now we are customizing it, customizing the standard functionality. So Salesforce is saying that if you want to use the standard functionality, you have to activate it. Okay. So what I can do now, I can click on that, activate. Once I have activated, see, it will give me a page. Here I have assigned as org. I want this should be activated for whole org. For whole org, it should be activated. Okay, let's go for that. Now what I'm expecting, whatever the functionality we are developing, that should be accessible on desktop as well as phone. Okay, that's good. I can go for next. And now finally what we are going to do, save. Once we have saved, this is added. Now let's go back. Now let's go back. You can see Once I go for the back, you can see it is added here, but I cannot see. Why I cannot see? Because we haven't added anything in the code. Now let's provide a statement, just like welcome to LWC. Welcome to LWC. So I have given a statement, welcome to LWC. And what we have to do for deployment purpose, just we have to use Control S. As you click on this Control S, you will get this confirmation page. Again, let's go again. Control S. See, I'm getting this page. So once we are getting this page, it means we can go and click on deploy. And once we click on deploy, we'll get this green message, success message. If it is deployed successfully, we'll get the success message. See, if let's say example, if we have some syntax error, if I'm not going to provide this bracket, so it means it's a syntax error. And then I will go for Control S and I will do the deployment, it will give me the error. See, I'm getting error message. So guys, so if we are getting the error message, on the same result panel, we can see why we are getting the error message. So that message we have to fix it. Once again, we have to go for Control S and then we have to go for deploy and see, we'll get the success. And if we'll get the success message, it means our code, our component is successfully deployed. Now let's go there. So once we have deployed successfully, just refresh this page. Just refresh this page. And now see, okay. So now if I'm going to refresh this page, it should be available here. It's not coming here. Why? Because sometimes it shows the cache issue. So cache clean करने के लिए what we have to. So for that, what I can do, I can go for and just clean our session setting. We have a setting that initially we have to change so that every time whenever we are going to refresh the page, it will show me the real data. Session setting. And in session setting, we just have to disable a setting so that the cache will not affect our coding. So I can go for here, we have the option, see, caching. This second checkbox, enable secure and persistent browser caching to improve performance. So that currently I'm going to remove it and save it finally. Save it finally. Once we have did, now we can go for refresh this page. And see, now it's available. Welcome to LWC. But before that, why it was not showing? Because of the cache. Because see guys, now we are developing every functionality in the browser. And if we are working in the browser, definitely the sometimes cache will affect. So to get rid of the cache, we just have to disable that session setting that I have shown you. That's it. Now you can see here we have our message. But client is not looking for welcome to LWC. Client is looking for a functionality that they are looking for. So let's say example, whatever the code we are going to write, that functionality will be available and that we are going to add our custom functionality. Let's take example, client is looking for a message. So let's go and create a card. So I can go for lightning dash card. See, as a developer, I know all these tags. I know lightning card, I know lightning input, so I can write it. But currently you are new. Currently you are new in the Salesforce. How can you identify that what are the tags we have to use it here? So that's why I have shown it here, this one, library. If I don't know the coding, we just have to take the help from library. We have to go to the library and we just have to ask, can you give me the card coding? Can you give me the card syntaxes? So just you can type for the card. You can see here we have the option of lightning card. Just click on the card. Just click on the card. Now card is available and here we have the code. So that is the feature given by the Salesforce. So if you are from non-coding background or maybe non-technical background also, easily you can develop any functionality because this library is going to support you always. So here we have the basics card. See, here we have the card image. If you're going to change the card from basic card to narrow variant, so it will show you the different image with different code. See, here we have the code. Here we have the code. So now I can copy this code. I can copy this code and I can utilize it here if you don't know the coding like this. But Let's take example, you are aware about the code, you are aware about the syntaxes. So just you are going to type, see, I'm going to remove it, and I'm just typing lightning dash card. So once you'll get the option, just click on that, automatically code will be here. So the both feature you can utilize. If you know the tags name, you can type it and that will be available. If you don't know, you can go for the library. That is, library is open for every type of project. Any secured project you are going to work, for every project this library will be open. So you can copy this and you can utilize also. Right? So I can remove all these inner codes that is not required. I have created a card, and in my card I can add a title. So for title, let's add, I can provide here, let's take here we have uh, lightning web component, and I can save it. I can save it, deploy it now. See, once I have saved this card, and let's say inside the same card I'm driving a message, same message, welcome to LWC. Inside the card I have added a message, welcome to LWC. Again, control S and deploy. Only the simple thing you have to do, control S, deploy. If you're getting the success, here the code will be deployed successfully. I can go there and now again refresh this page. Instead of this, a white background card will be available with a proper message. See, lightning web component, and here we have your message, welcome to LWC. Now in lightning web component, if you want to add some inputs, let's say example, I have to create some inputs like this. Here we have to create some inputs, we have to create some buttons. But again, I am saying I am new to Salesforce, I don't know anything inside Salesforce development, even in coding I don't know anything. No worry, here we have everything that is already given inside the Salesforce. If you don't know the coding of any buttons or any inputs, here you just have to ask to the library that can you give me the code of input. Here we have input. So once you type input, you'll get the input details here. Click on any of the input. See, here we have now inputs are available in the library, and here we have all the inputs available. See, these are the types of inputs available. Now which type of input, which type of code you want to copy, code is also given here. Code is also given here. So if you are aware about the code, you can utilize it. If you are not aware about, you can go and just copy and paste it. Let's say example, I have to create a input field. So what I can take, lightning dash input. See, I'm getting the option input. So I can click on that and I can utilize the text input. But let's say example, I am not aware about the input code. I am new to Salesforce again. So in that case, I can go to my library and here we have the input code. See, here we have the inputs. So which type of input you are looking for? Let's say example, you are looking for here this input. Enter some text, type here. This type of input you have to create. Enter some text and type here. This type of input you have to create. So enter some text and type here. You can see the code will be available. If you scroll it down, you can see here. Enter some text and is a default value. Again go, enter some text and type here. So here we have that. So I can just copy this line number 31, and I can utilize it. So guys, it's totally depend on you whether you want to write manually or you just want to utilize the library. Both are okay. Fine. So here in the label I can provide what? Let's say I can provide our first value. First value. It's the label of the UI. And again, let's go for Control S, deploy. Control S, deploy. And see, input field is created automatically. See, input field is created automatically. See, here we have input field. If you want to create multiple input fields like checkboxes, date field, phone field, so here we have all the options. See, I can go to my library. See, scroll down, you can see Input fields, here we have option text input, date input, time input, color input, file input, right? The email inputs, password inputs, every type of inputs are available. Let's say I have to create a date input, so I can go for the date. Let's say I have to store my birth date, so I can go for the date input. Here we have the dates. See, here we have the dates input. Which type of I'm looking for? So I can copy any of the code. Let's say I can copy this line input, and I can go and utilize here directly. See how interesting it is. Here is date, and I can provide the label is what? Birth date. Birth date. Now if I can go for Control S again, deploy. See the date is available. See how easy and interesting it is. I can go to my UI. I can refresh this now and see here. Birth date is available. Date is available now. So I can utilize it. So remember, whenever we are creating a HTML page or a component, always three files are very important. The first file for LWC component, what is required? The first is HTML file. Second, here we have current JavaScript. And third, here we have is meta XML. These all files are initially created when you are creating LWC component. So HTML is what? HTML is for, it is for UI designing. It is for UI designing. That is for UI designing. What is JavaScript for? It will support. It will support to UI and database to interact each other. Interact each other. That is the use of JavaScript. That is for supporting purpose. And what is the use of meta XML? It is used for the location of LWC. We have to locate. It is used for the location of LWC on your page. Which page we have to locate. That's why we have to use the meta XML file. Okay. Now let's say example, I have the input field, I have the boss date. I have to create some more input field like check boxes. So everything here it has already given. We have to learn how to utilize. Instead of the input date field, I'm going to provide input. Here we have one more input, that is second value. Second value. So once we are going to save it, deploy it, I can go there and you can see here. Here we have the two inputs, first value and second value. Now, what is my requirement? My requirement is that whatever the inputs I am providing, 1000, 2000, that inputs I can add it, I can subtract it, I can multiply it, I can cancel it. So it means on click of the button, I want to add, I want to subtract, I want to multiply these two values. It's very simple. The first thing what we have to learn, how we can create buttons, because for addition we need button, for subtraction we need button. So for button, let's say again I am new to the Salesforce, I don't know how to create buttons. So I can go to my library, I can ask here how can I create the button. So I can go for search for button in my library and see here we have the buttons are available. Buttons are available here. We have, see, these are the lists of button available: blue, red, right? See, green color, which type. If you want to change any color of also, that we can change it, customize. But here we have the button, right? So if you want to utilize, you can copy the code of the button, you can use it. Else, if you are aware about the tag, what I can go, I can directly use lightning button, and here we have the option of button. So both options you have, either you can go for manually or you can go for copy and paste from your library. I can utilize your button. The button is a brand color button. With the button name? Button name I'm providing as add. As add. So I have given the button name as add. Let's go and save it finally. Deploy. See how easy it is. I can just go Just refresh your page and see, now that button will be available. Now that button will be available. See, add. Like that, you have to create two more buttons, three more buttons, four more buttons. Yes, same code you can utilize. See, one is add, one is subtract, one is multiply, one is multiply. And if you want to create one more for cancel also, we can cancel it. Cancel button. Right. Now I can control S and deploy. Control S and deploy. See, control S and deploy. Now what I can do, I can just go and refresh this page. The page is now refreshed. Now see, here we have four buttons: add, subtract, multiply, cancel. But you can see the UI, the pages are not looking so good. It is not looking so attractive. Why? Because the length of the input field is like this. It starts here, it's end here. It start here, it's end here. So let's go and let's utilize some designing feature that is also more very easy. So let's say example, this input field, I have to make it some small. So for that, this time we are not going for the library. This time we are going to the designing system. And here we have the option of sizing. Once we go for the sizing, see, Salesforce has given this designing system. Which column? See, these are the sizes of text box. Three column, smaller. Four column, much more smaller. But for a for you can see for the standards we used to take always three columns, and here we have the code is given. The code is given, we have to utilize the code. So I can take, so if this size of box I want to take, I have to take code 1 of 3. 1 of 3. So here we have size 1 of 3. I can just copy this code 1 of 3. Copied this 1 of 3, and this of 3 I am going to apply here. See how easy. I can just go, I have pasted here this. Okay, I haven't copied properly, I think. So let me copy. I can go there, I can utilize it and see. Now let's go. Only first input currently I'm making as small. See, copy this, cut it, and instead of that I have utilized my input field. Simple. See, this is the first input field, first value. Let's go control S and deploy. Now see the magic. Now see the magic, because it's a inbuilt class that is given by the Salesforce. When we are going to use this class, now you can see here, if I will go and refresh this page, if you can refresh this page, you can see here the size of our input is nice. Now see, this is the size. So it has decreased 3 times. Now see here. The same, if you want to decrease the second also, nothing. Only we have to extend this div file. Now, what is div? Okay, you can ask your question. What is div? Why we have to use the div section? What is division? What is div? Yes, let me explain you what is div here. What is the use of div? Let's go deploy, and then I will show you what is the use of this div section. Why we have to use inside our code. Let me explain you. Now you can see here, let's see, the size is small now. Now what is the use of div? See, whenever we are going to create any UI, let's say Flipkart UI, Amazon UI, if you can go for any of the UI, let's say here we have the UI. So that UI is divided into multiple div sections, because div is going to separate here we have the div once again. So in this div we have the cycle only. In this div we have the cycle, and see the div is going to provide the reason is
Recording in
SDL,
progress.
SLDS align absolute center. If this class we are going to utilize, it will show all my input fields into middle of the page, center of the page. Let's go. Let me show you. So I can go, I can utilize the div, right? And inside div, I am going to I am going to store all my buttons. See, here we have all the buttons, and all these four buttons I have used inside the divs in div statements, and here we have the applied the class. Now Control S and deploy. Now once we have deployed, you can see here, you can see here. Now what I can do, I can go to my UI, I can refresh this page, I can refresh this page, and see the button is now shifted to the center of the page. If I want to change the color of the button, let's say example, I want this color of the cancel button will be red. So red color button, if we are looking for the red color button, here we have the destructive button. So only what we're going to do, the variant will be destructive. Once we are going to add the color of the button, see the cancel button should be destructive. Once it is destructive button, what does it mean? It means the button will be available in a red color button. See, it's available in the red color. See here. Now your page, now it looks like something good before that. Now, whatever the inputs we are providing, that inputs we have to add, we have to subtract, we have to multiply. So we as a human being knows that it's 1,000 and 2,000. But how a compiler knows? How this button will know that we are passing 1,000 and 2,000? So this 1,000 and 2,000, this value we have to send to the button. That I am sending this value to you. Can you please add it? Can you please add it? So yes, how can we send it? It's very simple. We have to utilize your what? Whatever the inputs first value and second value we are utilizing, we have to take an attribute, that is on change. Now what is the use of on change? Now what is the use of on change? On change, it means whenever we are changing the values, that value will be transferred to somewhere. So this on change we are going to provide it here. Okay, so we are going to utilize what? On change. On change. Now what on change will do? It will read the input values. So whatever the input values we are passing, on change is going to read it. And once on change buttons, it will read the input values. So here we have. So let's see. As we have used on change, whatever so whenever the values is going to change, it may see now I'm going to change from 10. Now 10, I'm changing from 10 to 100. So every time whenever we are typing, it means we are changing the values. So whenever we are typing, we are changing the values. Whenever we are typing, we are changing the values. It means whenever we are typing, we are changing the values. So that's why here we have used on change. That whenever we are changing the values, we have to read the values, and the value will be written in any functions. I can provide ABC, I can provide XYZ, with any name I can provide it. But at least we have to provide a name. So I can provide here, let's take example, handle change. Handle change. So I can take this handle change. I can go to JavaScript now. Here now I will go for the support, because I have to read the value. So for that, I can provide the on change. By default, Salesforce will provide me an event. It's a system defined event, and Salesforce is saying that I will give you a syntax, event dot target dot value. If you're going to use this syntax, event dot target dot value, it means whatever the input you are providing, whatever the inputs you are providing, you can read the value and you can store it anywhere. So let's say I can declare a variable, like I can provide input value, And that value we can assign it here with this or this. It means what? This means current value, current value. This dot input. Anyone is saying something? Yes, tell me. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Why we are record? Because see, whatever the page here we have selected till now two things. One is what? Record page and record action page. See, let's say example, if I am not going to take this record page, what is the meaning? I will let you know. If I am not going to take the record this page, I can go for save, deploy. Now, whatever the Lightning Web component we have developed, that will not be available on this record because this is the record page. Record page, it means I want to add this Lightning Web component on this record page. If we are not providing that, it means we cannot add it. I can refresh this page. Let me refresh this page now. Once I have refreshed, see the page here now, it's not available, right? I can go for edit page, and if I will try to edit also now, it will not be available. Why? Because destination target I have removed where I have to utilize the LWC. See, you cannot add LWC component there because that is not available now. Mhm. Interfaces, right, right, right. Interfaces, yes. Yes, exactly. Whatever that is working here, let's see if I am creating here, let's take Aura component, let me create so that it will be clear to you very easily. So here, if we are creating any this Aura component, so here we have these all are the bundles. So just like tab, page, so these all here they have given here as a target. Exactly. Lightning Studio, it was introduced in I think 2021 because Salesforce LWC introduced in 2019, but this Lightning Studio I think it has introduced in 2021. You can develop this functionality in Lightning Studio as well as if you want to develop, you can also go for the Visual Studio Code. Both option we have. Exactly. Exactly. That's why most of the developers nowadays they are using this. Why? Because here no need for the installation, no need for the connection. Directly you can log in inside the browser. The Chrome will be available. Just you can open the Chrome, then the connection will be established. That is the benefit of that Lightning Studio. So that most of the developers now they are working on the same Lightning Studio. Okay. Yes. Okay. Any other query?
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the decorators?
What if?
White decorator.
Wire decorator,
White
yes,
decorator.
yes, yes, yes. That is now what happens generally. Currently, whatever the development we have done here, we have. So currently here we have the HTML page, but whenever sometimes we have to pull the data from database from the Apex classes. So if we have written a Apex classes, so that Apex class data, if I want to pull it on the UI, so for that we need at the rate wire decorator because with the wire property we are going to connect our HTML page to database, and then the data will be flow from database to HTML. That's why, because there are two ways we can call this Apex classes to HTML. One is at the rate wire, and one another is imperative methods. So both have the different syntaxes through which we can pull the data.
Yes, sir. Sir, you have told me that you can directly check the what we needed, like input you are taking now, sir. Directly you are deploying that
Yes, directly we are deploying to
when we
the
got errors.
pod.
How do
Yes.
we handle the errors, sir?
Sorry.
Yeah, how to we handle errors
Yes,
when you
of course. Suppose if we are deploying here, right? If you are
directly you
writing
are
any
taking. Yes, sir.
yes, yes. Let's take example. If I have written Apex classes, let's take here we have my first class, my first Apex. If I have written Apex classes, so whatever the error, suppose if I have developed any method public, static, void, void, get data. Here we have the method. So if something, if we have the syntax error, let's say I have the error, I have not given this bracket. So if I am trying to deploy this to my org, it will not, it will give me the error message. So here we have to debug it. See, if I can go for save for this Apex classes, it will check, it is processing, it will checking your syntaxes and see it is failing. Why? It is saying line number 6 expecting this but was end of. So here we have to, here we can debug it. Okay, so we can get the we can get the information and we can debug it. Additionally, if I want to debug the HTML or if I want to debug the JavaScript, so that's what debugger, what I can provide. I can use the alert also. So I can use alert and I can check whatever the data we are providing that we are getting here. So we can provide the alert, we can debug also. We can inspect the multiple ways we can debug. We can apply the debugger, we can check in the debugger, we can use the alerts. So multiple ways we can go and debug it. So I see alert. Now if I can go and refresh my page, okay, I think that is not available. Now I have removed this, I have, I think, removed. Okay, let me add it, deploy. Okay, once we have deployed, see it is available. Now see, if I will type here 1, I am getting the 1. It means whatever the data we are passing, we are getting it. Okay, so currently whatever the inputs we are passing, we are able to debug. So once we are getting successful data, it means we are getting successful. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any other query, anyone? Come on, feel free to ask. Fine. So like this. So exactly same way we are also going to provide the second value, and once we click on the add button, that will be added. So let's now, it's a small thing that is pending. Let me complete this. It's a small project. So second also we can get same data. So we have to provide here condition. If let's see, we are providing the value from the first value or second value. So both value has the name. I can provide name. So I can provide here name 1. Second again, name 2. Name 2. Now I have to check a condition that if whatever the inputs, event dot target dot name 1, if we are getting the data from the inputs, we have to store it in the first input, this one, input 1, input 1. Okay, input 1. Again we have to create input 2 because we need two inputs, no, because we have to add, we have to subtract, we have to multiply. And if or else if, we can go for same, if event dot target dot name equals to name 1, name 1. Same if event dot target dot name equals to name 2, name 2. So then I have to add it here, same thing I have to add it in 2. Now this one, input 2. So now see here, so if we are sending the data from input 1, first value, second value, so here if the data will be from name 1, we are going to store it here. If here the data will be in 2, that will be here. Now what we need, we just, once I click on the add button, that should be add. So here you can type your handle add. Once I click on the add button, I can add it now. So I can take it here, handle add. Once I click on the button, we just need to add the value. See, so we can take this one plus 1. I can take this plus this. I have added here and I'm going showing as a alert only. Alert. So once I click on the button, the two values should be added. See here. Now I can go and deploy. Once we have deployed, let's see whether we are able to add it or no, or we are getting any issue. We'll fix it also. So I can refresh this page. Once I refresh this page, let's provide the values. I can provide the values here. 1000, 2000. I can go for add. See, I'm getting addition. Oh my god, but that is not addition, that's a concatenation. It is not adding the value as a mathematical. It is behaving this number just like a string, and it is adding just like a concatenation, like first name, last name, that is full name. But we have to do the addition as a mathematical. It means this string is we have to convert into integer. So how can we convert? It's very simple. We just have to use parse int. So always we have to remember, whenever we have to convert string into integer, we have to use parse int. So with the help of parse int, we can convert string into integer. And now again, let's go finally and deploy it. Once we have deployed, let's go there. I can refresh this page. So every time, whenever we are making change in the code, no, every time we have to refresh the page so that the recent code will be updated. Now I can provide here something 300. I can provide something 200. I can go for add, and now I'm getting the addition of 500. See how simple it is. If you can see here the code, we have written, whatever the code we have written inside the UI, almost we have copied and pasted, because already library is available. We have to learn how we can utilize that library. But the important is what? In JS file, how we can read the values, how we can store the values, and how we can add the values. That small logics we have to build, we have to learn. Okay, everyone. So same process we can do for the subtract, multiply, and cancel. We can go for reset. It will reset the value as 0. Okay, so guys, over to you again. If you have any question, any doubt, please feel free to ask. Everyone.
Hi, sir.
Yes, Srinivas.
You can cover only the development part or administrator part also you can cover.
Of course, no, admin, development, and integration, all three.
Okay. And how many months it will be take to complete the course?
See, admin, development, and integration, it will go approximately, it will go 4 to 5 months. Because I used to take admin and development, that will go almost 3.5 to 4 months, and rest 1 month, 1 more month will take for the integration.
Okay. And if suppose non-IT background students also able to clear everything?
Of course, definitely. Because see, already Salesforce has provided the library, the design system. See, admin is 70%. So 70% admin is new for everyone. Either they are from technical background or from non-technical background. That is, Salesforce is new for everyone. But for development, if you know the development, you have the additional benefit. But still, everything I'm going to start with 0. What is Apex? How we can write Apex? How we can write a class? How we can create a method? How we can create a SQL query? Everything we are going to start with the 0 level.
Oh, okay. And there is any other skills like Python, Java? We need to know any other development code language.
Mm-hmm. No, if you have, see, if you know any of the language, that is not a negative point. It's also a positive point, so that you can understand the logic. But if you are not aware about the logic, also definitely we are going to provide you how you can learn it. So that is easy.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other question, anyone? Of course. Of course, we can create a application. We can create multiple objects in there. We can create everything. Of course, we can develop. And nowadays, it always occurs, because One of my client, they are from a delivery partner, so they used to deliver their products in all over the world. So we have developed them as separate applications, a separate objects, separate LWC, everything we have developed. Of course we can do. Okay, any
Hi, sir.
other question, anyone?
Sir, sir,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Sir, without UI, we can create LWC.
Without UI, of course. No,
Without user interface, we can create LWC. Yes, sir.
without user interface, it means without writing coding, without writing
Yes, sir.
coding. No, of course not. See, we have a other way of creating a UI, that is flows. But for flows, every functionality we cannot develop via flows, because we have an option of screen flows. We can create multiple screens, but we have some limitations also. If we have complex conditions, na, in complex condition we cannot go with the flow. In that case, we only have to go for the LWC component, and for that, obvious coding is required.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone? Fine. So I think everyone is now okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
okay. Okay. Thanks all. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. Bye bye. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks.